Alex Pereira roots for Israel Adesanya to beat Dricus du Plessis. People ask me about Adesanya and du Plessis. I said I don't see Adesanya losing. Just because he said that I'd lose it doesn't mean I'll say it back. It's what I think. I don't think he loses this fight. I hope he wins because he has a beautiful story. I think he has to continue his story. He isn't that young anymore. He talked a little about wanting to stop fighting. I think he has that in mind. I think he should continue his plans. I don't think he finished his plans. I don't know. If he had finished his plans, he would have stopped already. So if he's still there, he still has a dream, something to do in the sport still. I'm here, supporting him. I'd already fought him. I'm not going to say he should lose. I'm not mad at him. No grudges. Like I said, if one day it's possible to train with him and exchange knowledge, Pereira said. We hear a lot of things about Adesanya behind the scenes. A lot of people talk about him. He's like this, he's annoying and whatnot. People who truly know him that I have contact with say good things about him, say he has a good heart. A lot of the times it's just marketing, and I believe that. I can see he's a good person, so that's why I'm here cheering for him. If he doesn't cheer for me, that's not my problem. But I'm here cheering for him. Dustin Poirier reveals the private conversation he held with Dana White about Nate Diaz's future. In an interview with Ariel Helwani, Dustin was asked about a potential Nate Diaz fight, to which he reacted negatively and instantly shut it down. Ariel asked him, "What about Nate Diaz? That's a big fight. I even saw you retweet the Nate Diaz thing. That's the one." Dustin responded with, "I don't think the UFC will do business with Nate. I don't think so, even after his last win. Last time I spoke to the UFC about Nate, it was another one where it was close to happening. It was almost done and then it fell apart again, which has happened a bunch of times with me and Nate. And then they told me, we're not gonna do business with Nate. We don't wanna do business with Nate anymore." Dude, I even accepted a fight against him on 24 hours notice. I was gonna fly to Vegas and weigh in the same day. The night of the Nate Hamzat fight. They woke me up in the morning and asked me if I could make 170 pounds. I had to do a FaceTime call with the commission. I have accepted so many fights against Nate, he can say whatever he wants, but the UFC knows the truth. Chael Sonnen believes Michael Chandler is one of the biggest draws in the UFC. Chandler is a top 5 draw in our sport, and if you challenge that, please lay out 5 that you believe you and the average fan would like to see more than Michael Chandler. Go ahead, I'll wait. And I don't know that that was true prior to Chandler going down this road with Conor, doing the Ultimate Fighter, being in front of you guys on the worldwide leader of ESPN every single week for the duration of that program. All of the headlines that come with it, even what was to be taken away and turned into what was not created headlines. Michael Chandler he's now pissed off Dustin Poirier. And did you see this? I'm talking about Poirier's interview with Ariel. Like, there was a tone that Dustin Poirier was taking while discussing Chandler with Ariel that was far more turned up than anything he had against St. Denis, for example, anything he had in his prior fight against Justin Gaethje, and that was for a title. Anything that he had in his previous fight with Islam, and it all came because Michael Chandler told Poirier to retire. Okay, Michael Chandler fought Dustin Poirier and he lost. Michael Chandler has not fought since. I feel like Poirier was his last fight, but then part of my mind says no. When he defeated Ferguson, it was still that same time frame, and it was still a meaningful amount of time ago, and moreover, Chandler hasn't done much since, and Poirier has done a lot since, right? Including 2 title fights, 3 matches in total, so at least in theory, Poirier would have gotten better by having 2 title fights, 3 matches in total, than Chandler having done nothing, and Chandler lost the first time. So who is Chandler to tell Poirier to retire? Who cares, man? Who cares who he is? It's a brilliant thing to say, and it worked, right? It's the truth that hurts. Kamaru Usman calls for Leon Edwards' killer to come out at UFC 304. I like Leon. You know, being a champion, he definitely has real skills, Usman said. But I feel like as a fan now, I'm as frustrated as a fan because this fight should have happened already. It's been such a long time ago. But I'm glad we're finally able to get the fight and for Leon to actually go in there and prove to people that he is high up on that pound-for-pound list. I think it's a good fight. I like the confident wave that Leon is carrying now. I think he understands the responsibility of being a champion, how you kind of have to train, the mentality that you kind of have to have, Usman continued. But just a little thing I would like to see from him is that killer come out. If you know you're the top dog, you gotta prove it to each and every contender who wants your spot. the Nigerian Nightmare, had some good things to say about his former 3-time opponent. However, he still wants to see more from Edwards as champion, especially when it comes to showing his killer instinct to those pursuing his gold from below. While the champ's 2 defenses thus far have gone the distance, Rocky has vowed to put his rivalry with Muhammad to bed by way of a violent knockout in the UFC 304 main event later this month.